Hi, my name is Stephanie and welcome to schoolhouserap. If you're new here, welcome. And if you aren't new, welcome back. Today I'm going to review two books from Multicultural Children's Book Day. And I have a freebie that you can use along with one of the books if you stay tuned until the end. I'll see you on the other side. The mission is to bring awareness to diverse books and to authors who may get overlooked, in mainstream publishing. So I have two books written by author Susan Schaefer Bernardo and illustrated by Courtenay Fletcher. Now, the first book, or the second book that I'm going to review, is actually co-authored with Levar Burton, Mr. Reading Rainbow himself. But our first book is called Sun Kisses, Moon Hugs. And if you are looking to expand your SEL library, this is a book. Well, actually, they're both great for your social emotional learning books. But this story talks about how kids, what coping skills kids can have if a loved one is not present. Maybe they're in the military, or maybe they have a job that they're going to be away from home for a length of time, or maybe even a loved one that has passed on. But it talks about how, you can look up at the sun and the moon, and because you both can see them, that you're close to each other. So I love this. It's very poetic. And even the illustrations, I'm going to show you one page here. If you notice how the words are written across the page, as you see the wind, the illustrator there kind of used the wind. And it looks like, to me, it looks like the words are kind of blowing in the wind. So the words or the illustrations, to me, are just as powerful as the words. The illustrator also makes a point to use X's and O's throughout the story, and it's kind of cool to go through and find, the X's and the O's through each page. That would be a great activity to kind of go through with your kids. Let's see, there's some others here. There's another one. Like I said, everything is just so fluid. It's really beautiful. You could really have some great discussions about separation anxiety, grief, resilience, and even love, how we show each other love, even when someone is, not close. My favorite line in the book is, "I'm leaving signs to show I care, like the wind whispering through your hair." Is that the favorite line? Okay, we go. My favorite line from the book is, "I'm leaving signs to show I care, like the wind whispering through your hair." The entire book uses occurrences and natures, just to show that love is forever and it's always around. Check in the description box below to look for other activities that the author uses with this book, as well as a discount code if you'd like to purchase it. If you put in MCBD21, I believe that's right, I'll put the code down below. You can receive 20% off of your purchase of both books. The second book is called The Rhino Who Swallowed a Storm. And this is another great book for your social-emotional learning library. Again, this was written by Susan Schaefer Bernardo, co-authored with Levar Burton, and the illustrator is Courtenay Fletcher. This one talks about a little mouse named Micah, who I found out is the name of Levar Burton's daughter. And she is talking to her father, and she's a little afraid because there's a storm outside. And it says, a year before, a powerful hurricane had destroyed her home. So she's afraid, and she's asking her father, hey, are we going to be safe? So her dad goes into this story about long ago, there's a rhino, and this rhino sees all of this destruction that this storm is causing, and it's tearing things apart that he holds dear to his heart. So the rhino decides to swallow the storm in order to get it to, stop this destruction. Well, as the rhino has swallowed the storm, it's not a good thing. And he's not so much ready to let the storm go. I guess he really doesn't know how. So his other animal friends, the helpers in the story, kind of tell him some tips to help him get rid of the storm, like he needs a good cry, and that sounds really familiar when we're trying to de-stress, is that, you know, give yourself a good cry. And then they also tell him to actually breathe, which is the first step of any emotion that you're trying to rid yourself of, or of any type of stress. I mean, we always tell our kids, you know, they come up into panic, and they're just, you know, talking a mile a minute, and we always tell them stop and breathe. So his animal friends tell him, hey, just breathe. My favorite line in this book is where Tortoise says, allowing yourself to start feeling your feelings is the very first step on the journey toward healing. And that's important for kids to know, that it's okay to feel what they're feeling. I mean, otherwise, if you can't identify what you're feeling, you can't move on to the other side to get over things or to heal. So that's probably my favorite line in the book. Our kids have had so many storms over this past year. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We've had violence in the nation's capital. The racial inequalities that we've been dealing with for a while, but it's kind of been thrusted to the forefront again. And even though our students or our children may not watch the news, they see their adults watching the news, and then they feed off of that energy. So a lot of times, if a child sees someone stressing, they can kind of internalize that. Well, both of these stories are great to use in the classroom, especially if you've already created a safe environment where your students already feel comfortable sharing things with you. But using stories, and you know how I feel about picture books, using stories as that foundation and that, or I guess more like that diving board to kind of start off, is a good way to get them to open up, identify those feelings, and then move on from there. Figure out what it is you need to do to release the storm, or, you know, to feel connected with a loved one who may not be around. So if you can, you should definitely check out these two awesome books, Sun Kisses, Moon Hugs, and The Rhino Who Swallowed the Storm. Great additions to your classroom library, or if you're a parent, these will be great stories for you to read to your own children. Again, if you'd like to purchase the books, you can get a 20% off discount using the code, and I'll post the code in the description below. And thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for all things teacher, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.